Very sad for Sussex. Meghan Markle and Harry's New York royal visit backfires. The Duke and Duchess of Hypocrisy have made the first major appearances of their post-palace careers, but they got one part of their U.S. coming out very wrong. In 1989, when Diana, Princess of Wales, made the famous trip to New York and was recently revived in the public imagination by the Crown, her first engagement of the day was to visit the Henry Street Settlement on the Lower East Side, a nonprofit organization that provided and still provides social, educational, and healthcare services. She then attended a gala to benefit the Brooklyn Academy of Music before making her iconic visit to an AIDS unit at Harlem Hospital, where she hugged a 7-year-old patient. I'm mentioning this because it's worth noting what a legal sanctioned royal trip to the Big Apple looks like now that Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, have made their debut, pioneered by the harem careers by staging their quasi-official tour of New York. Barriers to the public? Tick. A journalistic pen for the media? Tick. A lengthy security cordon involving plainclothes officers, suitably protected security guards, and over 100 New York police officers, some armed with M4 machine guns? Tick. A well-defined charity program? And it's precisely there that Harry and Meghan's DIY royal tour is radically different from the palace blueprints. Because despite their appearance-wise, this first official outing to the seaside outpost of Windsor House can look like a royal trip, bearing many of the hallmarks of a trip, internationally recognized by Whitehall. The picture starts to break into it as we get into the nature of what they are actually doing. On Thursday, they kicked things off with a visit to the 9/11 Memorial and One World Trade Center, during which they met with New York Governor Kathy Hochul, City Mayor Bill de Blasio, President of the Bow 9/11 Memorial Museum Anne Alice Greenwald, and the Bloomberg Philanthropy CEO Patricia Harris. It was then they headed back to the Carlisle Hotel on the Upper East Side, where the Duchess underwent a quick dress change before they made their way to the United Nations to meet the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas Greenfield, for what the ambassador asked for, an important discussion about COVID-19, racial equality, and raising awareness about mental health. The Sussexes later made a visit to the World Health Organization in conjunction with their Archwell Foundation. Let's pause here because the question must be asked, what good is their visit to One World Trade Center? What charity organization or cause helped it? As the Latin phrase cui bono, that is, who benefits? The only obvious answer, pictures of the Sussexes. It's one thing to pay their respects at a site where thousands have lost their lives. Plan an event involving two completely different photo calls. Likewise, regardless of the pitfalls like security cords, Harry and Meghan have no diplomatic status or role and no longer represent the crown in any way. So why are they recommending around U.S. Plaza and the WHO? Definitely, later there are much larger pandemic-related fish to fry. It has now been 18 months since the Duke and Duchess arrived in the U.S. and the COVID pandemic, along with Meghan's second pregnancy, and it appears to have delayed her ability to fully appear on the U.S. market as a public figure. This New York trip, however, can be seen as the opening move in their campaign to establish a shiny new public identity and try and carve out a place for themselves in the national platform. The symbol of Meghan's earring choice of the day, the Cartier Halo diamond earrings she previously wore on her wedding day and at her son Archie's christening, has not been lost in the mix. So how did the Sussexes decide to use their U.S. coming out? What did they choose to do with this potential unrepeatable opportunity? Going on a visit doesn't have a clear or identifiable charitable goal other than ensuring loads of images make them look royal. If there's one image that underscores this, it's that when Harry and Meghan stepped out of their 5-star hotel for the United Nations meeting, the Duchess changed into her outfit. For her second designer look of the day, she kept the $1,727 Row Merino turtleneck sweater that she wore to One World Trade Center, but changed out of the black trouser and a black jacket, with what is believed to be a Max Marin number, a bag worth $4,555 from the Italian brand Bellextra, and dark sunglasses. While the 40-year-old may look like an incarnation of Jackie Kennedy with her Black American Express card, that is to say, posh as hell, the reality of her dressing is striking. It doesn't appear to be because Meghan misinterpreted the New York weather with a temperature of 26 degrees Celsius on Thursday, because both of her outfits included warm jackets. In fact, her changing of her really amazing clothes ensured that there were two sets of photos that were distinct from their day, thus potentially ensuring more press coverage and more sets of photos for the media to ponder. It's hard to escape the feeling that, so far, the big New York of the upcoming Sussexes seems driven by image and to sell themselves to the United States as royalty. After just one day, it didn't feel like a monarchy outing, but more like a marketing opportunity. It's all a damn shame. Contrast what the Sussexes are doing on Thursday with the schedule of the Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, who is not only in the city but also at the UN. She attended the General Assembly this week as the United Nations Secretary General's special advocate for financial inclusion, for development, and the WHO. And on the same day, at Harry and Meghan's outing, joined into discussions centered on women's digital financial inclusion in Africa. This is exactly the kind of work Meghan can and should do. A lifelong advocate for gender equality, the former Suits star has one of the most influential platforms in the world to campaign on. Imagine if Meghan had joined Maxima even for a brief session. She will make sure that the world's attention, even for a moment, is on an issue that affects hundreds of millions of lives. Such an incredible strength that Meghan possesses. Power she is currently squandering while she and Harry take off on their self-styled royal tour. After all this, it is strange that when the Sussexes give up their full-time working member of the royal family, they say they want to create a progressive new role. But the roles, their new game, looks weirdly like plagiarism, replicas of their old friends, all shaking hands with officials and taking pictures before the next meeting begins. I'll leave you with this thought. The United States is also home to two other sibling future monarchs, Princess Madeleine of Sweden and Princess Martha Louise of Norway. Don't spend their time seeing themselves as something they aren't. Instead, they're both women with jobs, families, and philanthropic interests, all of which to say they managed to do without Good Morning America. I'm just saying. On the other hand, a royal expert also said, lying is not a good idea. In the comparatively recent past, Meghan told the world she was a fraud and a liar because years earlier, when auditioning for a part, she said she was a member of a union when she wasn't. When the lie was found out, it led her to being blacklisted by a slew of people and could well be why the only reasonable part she could get was in Canada. While she continues to be amused by it, most would have had terrible guilt if they'd lied about something that really mattered to those with whom you could be working. And as has been found out on The Oprah Show, lying can lead to a life where lying becomes the norm. Do not indulge in hyperbole, overinflating, or altering your qualifications. It's not a good idea, and you may well be found out. Claims that she has leading roles in theater productions while at Northwestern have not been shown on programs from her time there. Her qualifications when she graduated are disputed. There's also the differing reports about her time in Argentina. It's not a good idea to claim to be someone you are not. Her acting CV claims that she is different, and she could well be, but having herself called this, she now considered herself different. Why did she deny her rights up until she married Prince Harry? Did she want to hide her until she could be used to her advantage? Your family is important, and so are your friends. Look after them, and they will look after you. Meghan cares for neither and is quite happy to throw anyone under a bus if it suits her purpose. Money isn't everything. It helps, and for the most of us, it gives one reason to go working in the morning, to earn enough to support those who are near and dear to you, partners and children. But to seek money for the sake of it without the love and support of those who are important to you is an empty arbitration. Meghan is all about money, and she wants lots of it, and she will diss anyone and everyone who comes in the way of her goal. Just being in the media all the time doesn't make you a nice human being. Is Meghan a nice human being? Is she popular? Do her family love her? Is she nice to them? Does she have many friends of long standing? Is she generous, kind, and supportive? Not that I've noticed. In fact, until she was advised to improve her image while in Suits, I haven't come across many charitable acts in which she was involved, apart from the statutory school events. Does she freely give up her time to help with the old, the disabled, the disposed? Nope. Certainly not without a photographer in tow, and even then, only for a short time. In fact, what Meghan does, what does she do all day? What has she ever done that is selfless and for the good of others? What volunteering has she done, one that dislikes about the royal family, is gave of their time for no personal reward? With Meghan, it's just all about the money and herself. So what should women learn from her? That her behavior is not to be copied under any circumstances. That's the only thing I can think of that would be of any benefit. And you? Do you agree with this expert? Tell me below in the comments, and we'll also discuss Meghan and Harry together. If you so prefer our video today, don't be afraid to like and share it with anyone who needs it now. And don't forget to subscribe.